Hello everybody, welcome to So Old Fashioned. My name is Katie and today I would like to have a knit and natter with you. I was inspired by Gabby from Gabadashery the other day. She did a fabulous vlog on how her knitting is going and I thought it's been far too long since I talked about my knitting at you. So here we are today to talk about my knitting at you, and I have 4 things to talk about, so we should be good for a little while. First of all, I am going to show you something you've actually seen before. I think I showed you this in May or June last year and it was almost completely finished. All I had to do was sew on 6 buttons, and I have sewn on 6 buttons just the other day. So it's been about 6 or 7 months just waiting for buttons to be finished off, but I'm so glad I did it. It is my, well, I hope you can see that because I can't see you anymore. It's this amazing, amazing cardigan sort of jacket business with some moss stitch details on it, and yes, I got these buttons from my mum. I made her give them to me because, as you can see, they are a perfect match for the cardigan. So it finally has buttons. The bottom one's probably a bit on a wonk, but that's alright. No one will judge me, I hope. I can finally not wear it because it's far too hot to do so. I am the absolute worst with sewing on buttons. I just don't want to do it. I love every other hand sewing. Like, I sewed the entire thing together by hand. That was fine, but apparently when it comes to buttons, that's a step too far. I sort of tricked myself into it. Like, every time I had a spare couple of minutes, like if I was waiting for my tea to steep or something like that, I would just sew on a button, and I gradually crept up the button band until I just thought, I'll just sew the final 3 on or whatever it was, but it's done and I'm very happy and I want to be able to wear it, but I can't. Now, the second thing I want to show you is being modelled by Madam over here. She's very excited to get out of the wardrobe. She hasn't been out of the wardrobe for a long time. Unfortunately for me, this jumper looks way better on Madam than it does on me. Before we go on, I'll show you, this is my copy of the scan. I have this pattern book, but I like to work from a photocopy or a printout rather than the original. Here is the lady looking fabulous in her jumper, and I wanted to look every bit as fabulous. I started knitting this before I realised this style of wide rib doesn't really suit me because it tends to exaggerate the chestal region, as I like to call it. I just look, excuse the expression, all boob in this. I don't want to look all boob. It's so pretty. I just love the way they've arranged the cables to go across in that diagonal pattern. It's so beautiful. And I am still losing weight from not eating sugar and its sort of flow-on effects. So I'm hanging on to it in the hopes that maybe they'll get to a point where I don't mind wearing it. And I think it might also look nice under a jacket or a coat, so it may still end up being worn by me, but at this stage I'm just enjoying how it looks and playing it by ear. One of the things with these jumpers from this era is that generally the collar's too tight to get over your head because it's very snug around the neck. So you have an opening. Yes, it is on that side. So you have to sort of make little extra bits. You knit bits and crochet bits, so it's helpful to know how to crochet when you're knitting vintage patterns. There's a tip for you. And there are 4 press studs sewn in, and of course, as with buttons, I hate sewing on press studs, and also hooks and eyes. Basically anything that connects that isn't a zip, I dislike sewing. So I just sat down in front of the TV and sewed stuff on, and it's all done, but I'm just not happy with how it looks on me at the moment. Now, my third project, you've seen a bit of this if you were watching my Vlogmas, and if you're following my Instagram, the other day I posted a photo demonstrating the magic of blocking. Well, 2 photos technically. So I showed you how the front and back pieces looked before blocking and then after blocking, and I think it's magical. It's sort of, it just feels better after blocking as well, and not to mention it's a lot flatter and easier to work with. I'm very close to finishing this cardigan. So I should be able to post a photo of the finished product on Instagram soon, but just to show you where I'm up to, I have done the front and the back, obviously, these are connected, and I've attached the collar, which looks rather cute. I've not done a collar like this on a cardigan, so that's why I was excited to do this, to see how that looks. What I usually do first is I sew up the sleeves and have them done. So all I need to do is set those in and sew them, and it's finished. I love the way the ruffle panels look on this. It's really sweet. But knitting them was a pain in the backside, as you would have heard about all through Vlogmas. But I love looking at it now going, thank goodness I persevered, because that looks really cute. And it was really fun to do something a bit different that didn't really require any extra skills, so it was basically just knitting, but knitting a lot of stitches. So I don't know that I'd recommend ruffles because they will drive you a bit insane, but they're easier to do than you might think, and that happens a lot with knitting. I find things are easier than you think from the outside. And finally, what am I knitting at the moment? Well, let me tell you, it is from this fabulous Sunglow book, and I've already knitted this cardigan from this book and I love it. And I'm currently knitting this, which I've wanted to make ever since I made the cardigan because it's so pretty. Technically it's meant to be in 2-ply, but I'm making it in 3-ply because that will sort of size it up a little bit as well. But it's such a pretty pattern. I'm knitting with this giant cone. I probably should have, you know, unwound the wool and put it into balls so it would be transportable, but I like the silliness of knitting from a giant cone of wool. And this is where I'm up to on the back. I'm about to start casting off for the neck. I do like the pattern. It's easy to get the hang of once you've done probably the first repeat of the 16 rows, is it's basically just a lot of stocking stitch, no sorry I tell late, so basically a lot of garter stitch, but you're knitting all purl rows instead of all knit rows, and it's yarn overs and knit two together, so very simple sort of lace pattern, but it's, well, you saw the illustration, that's what it's going to look like. It's going to be pretty, and I will probably do a before and after for blocking for this on Instagram as well, because you really notice the difference when you do any sort of lace pattern. Right now it looks a bit sort of blobby, and you can see the sort of fan pattern through it there, but it will look a million times better when it's blocked. But that's the back, that's as far as I've got so far, and obviously I need to do the front and some sleeves, so that's what I'm working on at the moment. And yeah, that and sewing up my cardigan. So normally I would have 2 knitting projects, a large one like a jumper and something small like socks, because I love knitting socks. But at the moment I have knitting and sewing because I had a bit of a backlog of sewing, as you have seen with the things that I've shown you. I'm plotting what I'm going to make next after this, and I was going to make a winter jumper, a sort of Fair Isle winter jumper, but I found another pattern that I think I want to make a little bit more, and I definitely know I have the wool for it, so I will share that with you when I get to it. It's a 70s pattern because this is me, but I feel it has a real sort of 40s vibe to it, especially since you can make it in a short sleeve, so I'm excited to get to that once I finish this, because I'm excited to finish this and wear it, because everything is purple. Purple or sort of magenta colours, that's what I seem to like. Yes, I gravitate. I hope you enjoyed seeing what I was knitting and what I've been making. I really loved having the chance to share it with you all. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'd love to have a chat with you about knitting in the comments below, because I just like having a chat with people about knitting in general. And it's probably better if I do it with you guys and random strangers on the street. They don't appreciate it as much as you think they would. But I hope you're having a fabulous time wherever you are. Keep up all your fabulous work with making things, your knitting, your sewing, whatever else it is you might be doing. And I will catch up with you again soon. So goodbye until then.